ooh, ooh, ooh. And I don't even have my music playing. What kind of mess is that? So, welcome back to my channel. But you know what? I feel is only right that I do play some. Alexa, play gospel music. Let's see what she do.
Okay, here's a station for you, Modern Gospel on Amazon Music.
Oh, this is, this is a song that came out back in the day, but this song still resonates till this day. Okay, I'm gonna cut it off because I'm gonna end up having church up in here. You know what? There's something about when you have that moment and you reflect back on your life and you realize what you just went, not even what you just went through, but what you came from to get to where you are today. It does something to your soul. It really do. It does something to your soul. It just stirs it up because it goes to show you how powerful. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna start. I'm not, because we're actually here to talk about part 7 of chapter 1. She was made. Okay. About your work. Oh, we can go on and on, can't we? Grateful. There's something about being grateful. Oh my goodness. Flowing. Ah, yes. Okay, so. Yeah. Oh, listen, I got to turn this off, okay? Because if not, I'm going to just keep going. His gratefulness. Oh, there's something about gratitude and just being grateful. You start looking back and seeing all the stuff that you just went through in life. And when you look at where you are today, he saved you for a reason. Remember, all of this is for a reason. We all have a purpose to serve. No matter who you are, no matter where you are in life, you've been given a purpose to serve. And what is it is the question. What have you been purposed to do? And this is why we're going into She Was Made. She Was Made. You can get this book on Amazon. Go to Amazon, get this book. We're going through the chapter because the question is, I know that I've been given something, but I don't know exactly what it is. And this is what's bringing us into chapter 7. Remember, we've gone through Maya's life. We've gone through the beginning stages, right? And we're going through her triumph. We're going through her adversary. We're going through the mess, right? Listen, everything happens for a reason. And everything happens for a season. There's a time and a place, right? It's a time and a place. And this is why it's so important to get books such as this, books like this, so you can read, so you can kind of see and kind of gauge. It's almost like you're gauging your life, their life experience, to kind of see if there's anything that resonates with you. Not to say that it will be the exact same thing, but understand that we all, as women, we have shared experiences. You may have not went through X, Y, Z exactly the way I did, but guess what? You have shared that experience. You have something. You can resonate with something, right? So before I get started, I gotta say it. I'm only an expert when it comes to my life. I'm here to learn, to grow, to thrive. And so I'm always wanting to know, like, why. I've been that way since I was little. Why this, why that? I even got on some people's nerves about it. I still get on people's nerves to this day. Well, why and why? Okay. But it's for my clarity, it's for my understanding, right? And for as long as I have a mouth to speak, to use, for as long as God is blessing me with a vocal cord, and for as long as He's just continuously, He is forever blessing us, right? I'm going to always ask the question. So, as a disclaimer, I'm only an expert of my life. I'm not here to tell, I'm not a psychologist just yet. However, I am a certified spiritual coach. I'm not into the whole chakras, the tarot card reading. I'm just not. I'm more, my foundation is faith-based. That's my foundation. So, and nor am I religious, okay? So get that straight. I'm not religious, okay? I'm spiritual. All right, so we left on page 8 of She Was Made. And again, we just talked about, so in part 6, we talked about how Maya finally decides to surrender. And the minute she begins to surrender, let go, let God, doors begin to open for her. Things begin to move in her favor. Not only that, but she's also putting in the action steps and getting herself, because see, there's something about moving. You can't sit still and expect things to just come and fall out of the sky and onto you. You have to, there's a simultaneous thing that's happening here. For as long as you're moving, for as long as you are doing, for as long as you're putting in the work, because they say faith without works is dead, right? Which is so true. You can have faith, but if you don't do anything, if you don't put any work into it, it's just not going to come down and fall on you like that. But the minute you start putting in the work, plus the faith that you have, okay, that's when things begin to move out of your way. And this is where you hear people talk about the universe making way for you. There's something about, and the universe will. It's almost like, and I always compare this situation to the story about Moses. He's got all these people behind him, and he's been given a purpose to get them to a particular destination. There's something about that destination, boy. In front of him, he's in front of this huge sea. I want to say it was the Big Red Sea or the Red Sea. Well, anyway, he's standing there and he's like, how am I going to get my people through? How do you expect me to continue my journey to this destination that you want me to have these people? You want me to take these people to this destination. But in order for me to get there, I have to get these people across this water. How do I do it? And of course, the story, God says something about you have the, I guess Moses had a stick or whatever, something about the stick. But long story short, I'm not going to get into the story. Oh, gosh. So long story short, Moses, God had told Moses, I'm going to make way. I'm going to move the sea out of your way. But I'm going to need you to, I'm going to need you to take a step. And I'm going to need you to believe in me and have faith in me. So in order for that sea to move out of his way, Moses had to take a leap of faith. And when he took a leap of faith, meaning when he took that step moving forward, not knowing if this sea is going to move out of his way. This sea is like moving like crazy, right? But he took a leap of faith, and as he moved forward, that's when the sea moved out of his way. Such is life, such is your faith, such is everything, okay? When you are at a place in life where you hear from God or you kind of know But for some reason, we become afraid. Listen, 9 times out of 10, we become afraid, just like Moses was afraid. He was like, hold on, wait a minute. And he kind of, and then on top of that, we tend to get in our own way based off of what's up in here. Not more so of our spirit is telling us, our soul, our inside, not your heart, but you have a spirit within you. And oftentimes we overlook, we feel it, but at the same time, because of what we know, tends to get in our way. And again, that's what it means by getting in your own way, because you know too much, right? You know too much, okay? Sometimes you just have to forget everything you know in order for you to move. I said a mouthful, didn't I? Sometimes you have to forget everything that you know and move. There will always be greatness. You will always win when it comes to moving in a direction of not knowing what's on the other side. I just gave you something. All right, so getting back to the book, Maya surrenders. All of a sudden, not only does she surrender, but she also realizes, so we're going to go to the middle of the chapter here, starting at even the daunting task of completely rebuilding her entire life, seemed like less of a challenge now. I circled the word rebuilding. There is, you're not really getting rid of there's something about rebuilding. Your body is a building, but internally, right, there's some things that you just need to rebuild on. And this is where creating a new way of thinking comes into play. You can't make a new change using the same way of thinking. So in order to make a change in your life, you have to create a new way of thinking in order to see different results in your life. If you're still using the same way of thinking that you've been using, you're not really going to get any results of change in your life. You have to literally create a whole new one. Maya came to a point of understanding that she has to rebuild her entire life, which is a good thing. And rebuilding, oh gosh, I came across the story of rebuilding Jerusalem, where Nehemiah, I'm going to have to write this down or I'm going to forget, where Nehemiah was sent to Jerusalem to rebuild it. And in rebuilding, remember, you got to understand, not even understand, because in order to understand, you have to know. And once you know, and you kind of like, okay, you start tying it to things that you've applied it to your life. Now you have an understanding, because understanding is all about applying, right? Applying those things. So rebuilding simply means to repair. Listen, we got to repair our mindset. We do. In order for anything to happen, in order for things to go accordingly, in order for us to be able to activate our purpose and activate and be intentional about the direction that we're meant to go, you have to repair the mindset. It says to dismantle and reassemble. To dismantle and reassemble. Remember I told you that our Creator allows things to happen. And the Creator allows things to happen for a reason. And most of the time, it is to dismantle, to break us down so we can rebuild back up. And each time we get broken down, we build back up. And as we build back up, we become stronger. This is why they say that God doesn't give you too much than you can bear, and what don't kill you makes you stronger. It's the dismantle and the reassemble. Listen, you ain't about. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Dismantle and reassemble. Oh, with new parts. With new parts. So, growth takes place. Growth begins to happen. When we're dismantled, we're broken down, we're at our lowest point in life, the reassemble stage of rebuilding begins to take place. I've got to get myself back up. How do I get out? They say it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked out. What matters is how many times you get back up. And when I first heard about that, I didn't quite understand what it meant. Seriously, I didn't. I was really, really, I was confused. Like, what? So no matter how many times you get hit or get knocked down, what matters is how many times you get back up. And I'm gonna tell you, for some people, they can't seem to get back up. For some people, they can't seem to get back up. And they're trying to figure it out. No matter how many times you've told them how to do it, no matter how many times they've been told how to do it or they've read you've got to put the work in. And sometimes it'd be so hard to put in the work to get to that place because we're being reassembled with new parts. And the new parts is kind of difficult because I'm used to this part. I feel uncomfortable with this new part. I'm not used to that. This is what I'm used to. That's not how I do it. This is how I do it. Type of mentality, right? It's the new parts. In order for you to get here, you've got to allow those new parts to come in. You've got to allow the new way of thinking to come in order for you to get back up. You can't get back up with what you had that brought you down. You just can't. Oh my goodness. To dismantle and reassemble with new parts. That just gives me chills, okay? See, this is why I like to go to certain words that just pop out at me. And in this way, I get a greater understanding of what this means. So rebuilding her entire life seems like less of a challenge now. She done went through the hard part. She done been dismantled. She done been broken down. Now it's time to repair, but this time repairing and understanding that you have no control here. You just need to fall back, surrender, and just be obedient and do what I'm asking you to do. It seems less of a challenge now for Maya. Whereas before she's fighting, you can't fight what God has planned for you. You cannot fight. You can't go against the grain. You just can't. Because every time you go against the grain, it doesn't work out in your favor. So there's power in surrendering. Maya had a clear purpose and direction now. She had a clear purpose and direction now. Direction, the act, the point, order, guidance, leadership. She had a direction now. And guess where her direction was coming from? Oh my goodness. Exactly. Exactly. So she wanted to become better as a woman, a mother, a sister, and a daughter. Become. Michelle Obama she wrote her book, Becoming. We are all becoming, where we are all to become, because we all have a purpose. We all have some form of purpose that's been given to us that we have to carry out. Some people just don't know. They don't. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, so I can kind of show you how Maya was able to identify her purpose. So of course I wanted to become simply means develop into, and of course develop, you're growing into, turn into. People don't, you think about it. Think about your life today. Think about what you know today. Go back 10 years. Just go back 10 years. I don't care what you think about, what you're applying it to. But go back 10 years from now. You cannot sit up here and say that you are still the same person you were 10 years ago. You can't, because you think different now. The way you used to do things back in the day, you do it differently now. The way you used to dress back in the day, you don't dress like that now. Become. And guess what? It's not going to stop. Because when you look 10 years forward, you're going to be in a different place. The question is, what is that place going to look like? Will you be heading in that direction? Get your direction. Will you be heading in that direction? Okay. Will you be direction purposeful? Will it be purposeful? Would you be going in that direction purposely, right? Or are you just winging it? You just letting life come and go, and you just winging it. You just flowing with just going with the flow. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, You gotten a little better, right? Because 10 years ago, look at where you at. But just imagine if you did things purposely, if you lived your life on purpose, if you just sat back and surrendered, said, you know what? It's not about me. It's about the will and purpose that you have for my life. What is it? I surrender. Have your way. I'm listening now. Which way you want me to go? Now you're going to get to your destination. You're going to become. Everything is going to happen. You're going to have more than what you did 10 years ago and how you did it and where you are today. Just imagine where you would be moving forward, 10 years forward. If you had just imagine, had you did that back in the day, where would you be at today? The first book of Psalms talks about being like a tree that is firmly planted. Understand that when you go to plant a seed in the ground, before you can see that green thing pop up out the dirt, it has to plant its roots. So the roots have to grow from that seed first. And once the roots grow and they become planted in the dirt, now the green starts to pop out from the top of the dirt. But it doesn't stop there. For as long as you continue to take care of that particular plant, the roots begin to grow even more. So the more the roots grow, the firmly planted it becomes, right? Imagine a tree. Same thing with the tree. The tree, the roots are firmly planted. That's why when it rains, it storms, the tree don't go nowhere. Now, it may do this. It may even do this. But it's not going anywhere because it's firmly planted. Same thing. When you surrender and let go and let him have his way with you, and you become obedient and you start listening for direction and you start taking direction and you start moving, you grow into. Some of us got roots, but some of our roots aren't planted, and some of our roots have stopped growing. Some of our roots only gotten so far, but can you imagine how much further and how much planted and firmly they become when you surrender? Let me move on. Let me move on. All right, so she wanted to become a better woman. And so this is what she did. Maya started reading self-help books and keeping a journal, which she used every day. Her journal became her bestie. That's my best friend, that's my best friend, that's my best friend, that's my best friend. Her journal became her best friend. The self-help books, self-help. These are books that are nonfiction. They talk about principles. They talk about leadership. They talk about discipline, principles and discipline, basically. And they share other people's experiences, stories, the whole nine for you to kind of understand and apply to your life. So not only was she reading the book of life because she needed a foundation. So the book of life was the first one. She needed to grasp that foundation. She needed to get her roots firmly planted. And the book of life was the one that she had to use in order to get firmly planted. Because once you're firmly planted, you can't be moved. You can't be moved. So she's reading self-help books and keeping a journal, which she used every day. Every day she's journaling. Instead of picking up the phone saying, girl, what you doing? Guess what happened to me? Or guess what? I had an aha moment. She's writing it all in her journal. This is why in all that I do, when I coach women, whenever I do a workshop, whatever it is that I do, I always tell women to bring a journal. There is something about taking your journal and taking this pen and your every thought, everything that's up here and in here begins to come down and come to this pen to paper. Now you're releasing. You're releasing every thought, every aha moment, what happened, what you learned, what you've gained, what you've lost, how you can do it better next time. What did I do wrong? Not only that, but after you've released everything in here, give yourself about a year. Go back to the beginning of your journal and you begin to see how far you've came. You literally get to see your growth in a book. Not only that, but your stories, things that you've went through in a book. In a book. All right, so in a book, I just gave you something. I've been giving you something all throughout these videos, okay? That's just who I am. I want to see you win. I want to see you grow. I want to see you excel. You have to. See, my purpose is to help you live yours. That's it. But you have to understand the foundation. You got to understand that this is a spiritual thing. You know what I mean? It's a spiritual thing. It really is. And if you don't know, and if you're not firmly planted in a good, solid foundation, you can always be moved. You can always be moved. People gonna be, you can be like, Then one, it's like people who live in one city and they lived throughout that entire city because every year or two they're moving somewhere else. We moving. Instead of picking a place and stand firmly planted. Now, sometimes our roots overgrow and we need more room. We need more room to grow because I'm not growing anymore. I need to grow some more. This is when you move. With the house is too little. Listen, we stayed in a 2-bedroom house. We've got 5 people in the house, 2 bedrooms. It was cool when the babies were little, but now we need bigger space because they're getting big, and we just can't maneuver through a small 2-bedroom apartment. It's time to move. You know what? My roots are firmly planted, but I'm just not. It's time to move. But you have people who's not firmly planted, and they're constantly moving. It could be moving to a different place, moving throughout their careers, moving throughout what they want to do, what they're passionate about, just moving. And this is why you have to identify your purpose. In order to identify your purpose, you got to get spiritually connected. You have to be spiritually connected. I can't tell you. You really do. In order for you to really understand, because some people say that they say, Gil, you too deep. No, I'm not too deep. I'm just being real. I'm just calling it what it is. And a lot of people don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to feel some type of way, and that's okay. It's okay. I understand why you're projecting. I do. And I receive that because I understand where you are in your growth, in your walk. You haven't quite gotten there yet. And you know what? I respect that. But guess what? I'm still going to call it for what it is, call it like it is, and I'm still going to be honest about life. Moving on. The most profound lesson Maya mastered was the simplest one of all. No one is perfect. The most profound lesson Maya had to master is that no one is perfect. Who do you know is perfect? Who do you know is better than the next person? We all, and I've heard people say this, we all put our pants on the same way. We don't put our pants on the same way. Some people put it on different. The end goal is that you got them on. But we're not perfect. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. From the last time I saw it, we're both humans. You know, we both are spiritual beings experiencing human-like experiences. So you're no different than me. Now, you may have a certain level of skill and knowledge that I may not have. However, that does not mean that you're better than me, and vice versa. You have a lot of people who, I wouldn't even say judgmental. It's not even judgmental. They just feel like they're better. And you know, Maya Angelou once said, people, it doesn't matter what you, it doesn't matter what you say. People, what matters is how you make them feel. You have a way of making people feel great or terrible. You have a way of making people feel deserving or non-deserving. You have a way of making people feel like they were the beautifulest thing on earth and they were the ugliest thing on earth. The question is, are you making people feel the way you want to be, the way you want to feel? You see that? So now Maya's mindset had to change. She mastered the fact that no one is perfect. She's not perfect. Just because he's the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, he's not perfect. He's going through sugar honey iced tea, just like you and me. There's a difference, though, in how we choose to react to certain things. That's what makes us. There's a difference. We're different. However, just because I handle this situation this way doesn't make me better than you. Just because you choose to handle it that way doesn't make you better than me. So once we understand that no one is perfect, once we really gain that perspective, you begin to see life in a different light. Different light. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to tell you about yourself. Not in a bad way, though. And I'm not going to say tell you about yourself, but correct you or hold you accountable. People don't like to be held accountable. And at the end of the day, I'm going to love you. So she had to master it. She had to master it. And a lot of people, for some reason, they just feel like they the sugar honey iced tea. They don't go through mess. They good. They're not human. You're not going through nothing. Boo, listen, you're going through something, okay? And guess what? It's okay, because I be going through stuff too, right? Moving on. So for Maya, it took losing her children to make her hunger to be a better parent and a better person. That's another thing. You got to be hungry. You got to be hungry for change. You got to be hungry enough to want a better life. You got to be hungry enough to want to own your own business or to whatever it is that you want to do. You got to be hungry. Maya losing her children for that length period of time really had her like, you know what? You know how you make a promise to God? You be like, okay, if you get me out this situation, I promise I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Maya did the same thing. Listen, I've surrendered. You can have it. I understand now. Whatever you need me to do, however I need to do it. Listen, I'm all in. I'm all in. The hunger was there. I'm all in. What you need me to do? I'm listening. So while on this journey, she was required to participate in a parenting class. There she learned about behaviors children may exhibit at different ages. So now, she's been forced to take this parenting class. That's all part of the whole program of rehabilitating, getting your children back, the whole 9 yards. And again, everything happens for a reason. She didn't understand at that time why she needed to take that parenting class. She didn't. She didn't even think twice about it. She just took it. But while she took the class, she understood a lot about children's age, their behaviors, the difference, so far, so far. Everything happens for a reason. And that's the thing. You never know while you're going through it. You don't know why it's happening. You don't know why you got to go through this. You just like, listen, I'm going to do whatever I need to do. And you follow suit, you follow through. You don't ask no questions. You don't complain about it. You just all in. I'm telling you, life is beautiful. Moving on. So there was another class about how to manage children coping with divorce. So she had to take another class. How to manage children coping with divorce. People don't even think about that when they get married and get a divorce. They just don't. Luckily, the court system, has it in place where you be educated educated about certain things, because sometimes we just don't know. We don't know. We don't know what we need to take, what we need to do. We just don't know. Maya was being prepared for her true purpose. So you say, well, how was she being prepared, Gail? She done went through all this mess. Now she's come out of it. She got to take these classes. She wants to become a better woman. She done made a promise that now she surrendered. How was she being prepared for her true purpose? How? From the beginning to the middle, right? In the beginning, it was like, Then it was like the dropped. Nobody smiling, laughing. Life just got real. Life just got real. So now she's through all of that and going through her go through, right? Going through her go through. All of that mess, the good, the bad, the ugly, where she's at now, it's all prepared her for her true purpose. See, there's order to certain things. Certain things have to happen in order for you to arrive at a certain destination. In order for you to, say you're traveling overseas, certain things has to happen in order for you to be able to get on that plane to make it to your destination of going overseas. So that means you got to get your passport. I got to make sure I have my passport. I got to make sure my ID is together. I got to make sure I have what I need for the weather. You packing your bags, the whole 9 yards. It's preparation that has been ordered for you to arrive to that final destination. And here Maya has finally arrived, okay? Almost. Now she's almost there. She's on the plane. She's heading there. She's on this plane. She got everything she needs. She just has to get there now, right? Maya began volunteering or serving, I should say. Volunteering at her children's school. She made a commitment to volunteer. Now, volunteering is nothing but serving. And I had to write this down before we get to volunteering. I kind of skipped through some things. Lesson. Remember the lesson that Maya learned? Well, it's a course of study of life. Education, homework, instruction, exercise, practice, test, teaching, reading. It's a task. And then mastered simply means ability or power to use, comprehend, grasp, understand. Sometimes you can just master a skill. I mean, repetition is the mother of skill. But when you master something, it's like a video game. It's like when you're doing something at work and you've mastered that particular skill. Now you can go on to the next. Now you can move on because you understand how it works now. Next. The journey, traveling from one place to another. We all have, and I, what journey? I always say that every situation is nothing but a roller coaster ride. And when you think of some roller coaster rides are pleasant. I mean, it's fun. It's like, you on that ride and you good. You got some of them roller coaster rides that's not so pleasant. You on there like, I can't wait to get up. Why did I even get on this roller coaster? I will never ever do this again. Or the same roller coaster, you said you won't do it again. Now you know what not to do. I'm going to make sure I don't eat nothing. I'm going to make sure I don't have nothing to drink. Because when I get off this rugged, crazy roller coaster, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be feeling like how I felt before. Life, the situations, the things we experience is nothing but a roller coaster. Some roller coasters make you cry. Some roller coasters make you sick. Some roller coasters make you happy. You like, I want to do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, right? That's what I call it. But journey, and we all have a journey. It's traveling from one place to another. It's an adventure. Listen, that's why we got our highs and lows. That's why we got our good days. That's why we have our bad days. That's why we have, those days where we just, then we got them days where we just like, listen, let's go. Learned, having much knowledge, being well informed, accomplished, educated, studied, well educated, learned. How? In what way? What means? I love the word how, because when you say, well, how do you do this? Now you're giving instructions on how to do it. A lot of times people will tell you what to do, but they won't tell you how to do it. And that just listen, I hear what you're saying, but how did you do that? You didn't came across Gail, the one that be asking mad questions. I want to know, how did you do that? Mm-hmm. And then sometimes they don't even want to tell you how, because people can see what's in front of them, right? They can see the potential. They can see the grind. They can see the hustle. They can see all of that. So they don't want to tell you how, but it's okay, because if they don't tell you how, God has a way of sending someone else in their place who's going to be willing to tell you how. How, my favorite word. Well, how did you do this? I'm taking mental notes. Hopefully I have my journal, my pen, where I can really write this stuff down, right? Because sometimes you got so much up in here, you just forget it. So now we have the word volunteering. And again, volunteering simply means a person who performs a service willingly without pay. How many people do you know that are willing to do that? How many people? It's not so many people who are willing to serve. It's not a lot of people who are willing to perform a service willingly without getting paid. Everybody wants to get paid. Everybody want to make money. Everybody do. And how often do you come across people who are willing to serve a service, who's willing to give? I mean, there's something about being willing. There's something about moving ego to the side and coming to the table from a humble and understanding place of when it comes to providing service without having to get paid. You may not get paid from that individual that you're serving to, that you're volunteering your service for, that you're volunteering, right? You may not get paid physically from that particular person, but understand that you will get paid. You see, my mind gets excited and my words be like this. I be having my words, it be free flowing. But then when my mind just locks up, everything just lock up and I'm speechless, right? So for people who have willingly performed a service for free, I guarantee you that they have prospered. They've received so much abundance in doing that, just that one particular thing. Abundance and prosperity just been in their favor. Me personally, I would rather have that than to be paid monetarily from that. Now it's good. Now don't get it twisted now. We do need to be paid for our services. We do. However, there's something about being willing enough to do it for free. You know what? I got you. I got you. Don't worry about paying me. This is on me. But really, it's on him. And guess who's gonna bless you? Guess who's going to favor you? That's why they say favor ain't fair. Favor ain't fair. And you know what? It's not. It really isn't. Because quiet is kept. I don't know what I did to deserve this. I just don't know. I don't know. You ever had those moments where all of a sudden something good just happened to you, happened for you, and you're like, what did I do to deserve this? What did I do? Favor ain't fair. But let me keep going. So now everything that we're at the bottom of the page 8, everything in Maya's past is now behind her. She was able to go back to work. But 2 years later, she resigned to pursue her true purpose in life. She started her own business, helping women to discover their purpose and overcome life's challenges. So you see how the beginning of Maya's story, it's like there was a up. It wasn't that up, but it was kind of like up. Then it just went significantly down. She got broken down. And she had to rebuild. But she had to walk up that hill. You got to walk. You got to do the work. Going up. For as long as she's willing to walk and work, she's going up. Now everything that's behind her is behind her. It's behind her. And she had to learn how to detach from that. She took everything that she's gone through, her experience, her life, what she's learned, her journey, and now she's helping women. She started her own business, helping women to discover their purpose and overcome life's challenges. Now she's in the place where she can help other women come out of their go-through. She can resonate with those women. She can relate to those women. She now has a voice. She now has, listen, this is what you do, baby. This is what you do. This is how you do it. Come on. She continues to practice what she preaches. It don't stop. You just listen, people when they come out of their situation and they're at a good place, all of a sudden they just stop. I'm good. I'm Gucci good. I'm cool. I'm done. Like, I'm so glad I came out of the storm. I'm good. And it stops. But then guess what? They end up going through another storm. And then all of a sudden they in church, or now all of a sudden they praying like crazy. Now all of a sudden they willing to do the work. And you have to keep, because the storms are going to always come. Storms going to always be there. Storms going to always come for you. That is just part of the territory. You can't live in a city and not have certain weather elements take place. It has to happen. And then if they don't take place, then guess what? That's why you got global warming, and global warming is global warming everything, right? But anyway, so Maya, almost everyone across the country knows Maya, but she had to start somewhere. You don't have to have everything to start. You don't have to have everything. You just have to start. Start where you are with what you have. Start where you are with what you have. You don't have to have it all to make a move. You don't have to have it all to take a leap of faith. You don't have to have it all to surrender. You don't. Start where you are right now. Where you are right now, you start. Pull out that journal and start writing. You have a book that's been sitting there and you haven't really paid it any attention, you got it, but you really haven't had the time to read it, pick the book up and start reading. Start where you are. So we're all like Maya in the way. She was forced into a difficult situation. And the word forced, a lot of times we have to do the things we don't want to do. And when we don't do the things that we don't want to do, life has a way of forcing us to do it anyway. I tell my boys this all the time. Listen, you either do the work now, or you're going to be forced to do it later. You want to wait till the last minute, procrastinate. You don't want to be ahead of the game. That's cool. But understand what comes with the territory. If you don't do the work now, you're going to be forced to do it later, such as life. If you don't go and get your checkup, you've been having this lump for how long? If you don't get it, if you don't go and get that checkup, life has a way of forcing you to take your butt to the hospital to get it, because eventually you're going to be in so much pain and agony where you're going to run to the hospital. So life has a way of forcing us into doing things that we should do it even when we don't even want to do it. And this is why you should do the things that you don't want to do. It's the thing, it's doing what you don't want to do that's going to take you there. It's the discipline. It's the principle. It's the way of life. We're all going to make mistakes. It's not until we learn from them that they go away. Once you learn from the mistakes that you make, they go away because now you know better. And when you know better, you do better. And when you do better, you don't make the same mistakes no more. But if you find yourself making the same mistakes, changing names, replacing this with that, it's just going to keep happening. It's just going to keep happening. And at some point in your life, you got to sit back and do an evaluation and evaluate what are you doing. And then if you can't figure it out, you reach out to people like me who can help you see it from the outside looking in. That was a plug. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was a plug. Anyway, so our situations and circumstances cultivate who we are. They do. They don't make us who we are, but they cultivate us. We grow, we become, we turn into. And you want to turn into something great. You want to grow into something great, but you want to grow into your purpose. You want to turn into your purpose, and you want to live life on purpose, with purpose and being purposeful and being intentional. So in order to do it purposely, you got to be intentional. Okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is why I'm going to do it. Why are you doing this? So why are you going outside? You're going outside to do what? Okay, so why are you meeting these people? All right, so now what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Being intentional, asking those questions of why, and holding yourself accountable, or allowing someone else to hold you accountable, because that person's going to keep you where you need to be. You see what I mean? And oftentimes, you got people that just don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be responsible, worth sugar, honey, iced tea. And guess what? At that point, you just let them be them. What can you do? You can't make them do something they don't want to do. So the hard times shape and mold us to prepare us for our real purpose. Again, you have a purpose. I just showed you how Maya discovered her purpose. We went through a whole series. I can't believe we got 7 parts to one chapter. So I just showed you how, being a late bloomer, some of us are late bloomers. There is nothing wrong with that. You've got so many advantages being a late bloomer. So many. There's some things that you hadn't experienced just yet that you will get to experience. It's almost like you were Benjamin Button. You were born to be this old baby, and there were certain things you just couldn't do because of how life was, and now all of a sudden, as you get older, you really get younger. Before you couldn't run, jump, and play, but now you can run, jump, and play. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with being a late bloomer. You have so many advantages. And discovering your talents later in life with experience can lead to greatness. At the end of the day, no matter what, you are winning. You're winning even when you lose. You're winning even when you failed at something. Because in order for you to even reach greatness, you have to fall. You have to fail. Success is nothing but failure. When you listen to these people who are successful, you know how many times they failed at what they were trying to do, at what they've done. You know how many times they had to start a new business, and it only takes that one. And that one just all of a sudden you like, oh, they blew up overnight. No, you don't know what they went through to get here. Here's the thing, had Maya not gone through these struggles, her positive impact on thousands of women would not exist. We are all nothing but Mayas who have gone through mess. It's just some of us recognize our purpose, and some of us don't. Some of us just don't, and that's life, and it's okay. But I am excited to say we are finally done with chapter 1. I pray that this entire series of Maya's life, and this is why I chose to title this chapter, I Woke Up Like This. Because every day you wake up being who you were destined to be, being who you were purposed to be. You woke up like this. Nothing about you it's everything about you, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. Embrace it. Embrace your hard times. Embrace those moments of loneliness. Embrace those moments of pain and agony. Embrace those moments of people just coming for you. Embrace those moments of not really being able to get there, because it's all for a reason. It's already destined, predestined. It's just a matter of you going through it, the process, remember? Going through it and then doing the work and applying those things that you've learned. I don't care how many conferences you go to. I don't care how many events you go to, how many, women you go to listen to. I don't care. I don't care how many books you go to read. It doesn't matter. What matters is when you go to that conference, you hear, you learn, and you apply. When you go to those events, you hear, you learn, you connect, you apply. When you read these books, you apply what it is that you're learning. That's the missing link to why people aren't really, I don't want to say getting it, but they're just not, it's missing. So, hopefully this was good. I went on a tangent. We kind of, 3 minutes over, but this was good. We're done with chapter 1. I look forward to delving into chapter 2. Now, chapter 2 is interesting because chapter 2 is about relationships, and it's about for the love of relationships. The stuff that people do, right? Some make sense, some don't. But guess what? We understand why, right? Because I woke up like this. So please share, comment, subscribe to my channel. Please, I'm open to everyone's perspective. I love learning. There may have been something that I missed, especially when I was talking about the Moses story, crossing the people across the Red Sea. But you get my point though. You get it. That's all that matters. But subscribe, like my channel, and continue to use what you have today to empower tomorrow. Know how much I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Until next time. Bye.